How's it going, everyone? Video Slave here. Now, there's something you need to know before we get into this. I don't like Canada. Yeah, it's my own fault. I'm just bad at it, and as a result, I was just being really cautious in qualifying. For some reason, there was this glitch that made the mirrors turn completely black.
I have black mirrors. Why has so many people got this black mirror issue?
Luckily, it didn't cause any issues.
Liam, I'm behind you, by the way. I'm on your
I
inside,
can't see
Liam.
it! I couldn't see
I
you!
didn't touch
I
cockpit nor mirrors.
You said behind me, and as soon as I turned in, no, I'm behind
because
you.
you're going super slow.
I somehow managed to qualify 5th, despite it being like the most cautious lap I've ever done. I just didn't want to lose the reel like I had been in all week. I wasn't really expecting much from this race, I was honestly just hoping to finish.
Right, boys, make sure SRT's running, make sure your pedals are plugged in, and don't have a heart attack.
I'll try not to do that last one.
Don't have a brain aneurysm.
Oh. We said it was going to be in Max's video. This is it. Don't turn into an IRL brainlet.
So guys, what do you think happens when you die?
Yeah.
Scott, go to Jahadiel.
If my pedals come unplugged and I go straight on again and you all think I've died.
Max is just
God
gonna be
damn
like,
it, bro.
Oh, it's a
Why is it
really,
taking so
really
bloody
interesting
long?
start to
It's
the race.
normal sound.
Here we are then on the grid with the medium tyres. It's lights out and away we go, it's a decent start. We're gaining ever so slightly on Brandon, but there's just not enough room. We're side by side with Cozzy through turn 1 and we make contact. I have to hold it around the outside of turn 2 to see if I can get a decent enough run, but it's just not there. He has the inside line for turn 3 and that demotes us down to 6. It's not over for us though, since Mac is just behind. We're going to have to leave him room as we go to battle for the next few corners.
You mate. Like you were inches away from being exploded.
I get close to it, but I get close to it quite late after the join.
That's the bad part. No, it's
what?
not where it used to be, Sam.
Oh, fuck.
Nick, did you
That's,
get
that's
off
what I'm saying.
that
You
as
were
well?
you were right beside it.
I had to, Scott piled down inside, so I had to like jump out the way.
As long as I hit the bit that puts you in the air and not take off your right.
I had to dodge, yes.
Oh my god, the input back.
Towards the end of the first lap, people are getting absolutely killed at the Wall of Champions. At the end of the next lap, Max gaining the slipstream. He goes down the inside, but I can't see how far alongside he is. And I almost come to a complete stop letting him through. It's deja vu on lap 5, Scott's overtaking, but it's easy this time since DRS is enabled. We're now in a train of about 4 cars. Going through the hairpin, we're so backed up it's almost like being at the Monaco hairpin. Up ahead, Mac and Cozzy are going side by side into the final chicane. Cozzy doesn't have much choice but to use the escape road and rejoins just ahead of me. So we're now sandwiched between both drivers of the team, which is our main rival in the Constructors. The train's only getting bigger on lap 10, so it's now from 4th to 10th. And we're all getting held up by Morgan, who's using qualifying boost to stay up front. If he keeps that up, it won't be long before his engine blows. On to lap 13 now, Mac has a chance to overtake around the outside of Morgan. That causes the rest of us to have to back up, so I'll see if I can try and move down the inside, but it's just not there, as Brandon's in the wall. Only a couple turns later and Scott's gone wide. That gives Cozzy a run into the hairpin, but he backs out of the move, allowing me to dive it down the inside, just marginally avoiding Scott. It's not over though, as we're going side by side. With DRS I managed to pull ahead, so I move over and when in my mirror it looks like I'm fully ahead. In reality though, it was quite a bit closer. With that, we're now up to 6th, and the tyres are doing pretty okay. However, probably for the first time this season, the rears are wearing faster than the fronts. Given that I haven't experienced that until now, that could become an issue later on in the race. Spoiler, it does. At the start of lap 15, Craig comes out of the pits just behind his teammate. Now if I don't lose the rear like that, I could capitalise on this and get past Scott by following Craig through, which we're able to do. Next lap as we approach the final chicane, I outbrake myself and have to use the escape road to avoid ploughing into the back of Mac. That allows Scott and Alfie to pass. Approaching the line to begin lap 19, Alfie's about to make a move on Mac around the outside of turn 1. He runs wide and I think I can use the momentum to overtake around the outside, which doesn't really work as Alfie pulls across and I have to come off the throttle. As I go through turns 3 and 4, I lose the rear and tap the wall. I'd been taking those corners the exact same way the entire race, but the rears were just too worn at this point. I try to see if I can carry on since there's no real damage to the car, but the flat spots are just too much to handle, as you can see from just how much the steering wheel's shaking on the straight. I come in for a set of softs thinking that since the mediums went 20 laps, I could just split 2 soft stints equally to the end. I should have probably chosen hard since neither of the soft stints ended up having much wear at all. Also, I should have cancelled the repairs since it cost me 17 seconds, which turned out to potentially cost me a position. Yeah, this race could have gone a lot better had I not been a brainlet. The fact that I've emerged from the pits still within the points is frankly surprising, since I really wasn't expecting that from this race. We've now caught up to Morgan at the end of lap 25. I'm on softs, he's on hards, and I begin to get held up a lot over the next few laps. At the end of lap 31 I'm finally able to make a move, but even with DRS Morgan re-overtakes because of qualifying boost. A couple laps later we're right on the back of Morgan, I dive down their inside at the hairpin, but we still have DRS since the activation point was just before the hairpin. Before we can get to the activation point however, Morgan uses Q-boost to re-overtake. You can see just how much they're gaining, but once we activate DRS, Morgan's engine blows. It somehow took over 30 laps, but it just goes to show that using qualifying boost during the race just isn't worth the risk. The very next lap, Nick's about to pass us for 8th. I brake early at the chicane to see if it'll help me get a good run on the next straight, but there's a bite marker across the track. Even though the tyres have barely worn 3 laps later, if I want to split the soft tyre stints evenly, I need to pit this lap. As we come out of the pits, we get lapped by Sap, who's in the lead. And less than a lap later, we have to let Craig through as well, who eventually retakes the lead.
God damn it, Max! I hired you to assassinate him.
At the start of lap 46, since we're on way fresher and softer tyres, we're actually beginning to get held up by Sam. He lets us go towards the end of the lap, but there's a 19-second gap to Nick ahead. Yeah, remember those 17 seconds of repairs that I didn't actually need? That looks like it could have cost us P8, since as we crossed the line there was little over 17 seconds ahead. I still managed to get points, which is a bonus. I really wasn't expecting that from this track. That's all for this race though. Next up's Turkey, so hopefully I can do better there.
He's pushing me off the track! What an idiot!
Oh, fuck off.
I was ahead of it into the braking zone and he fucking pushed me off the track!